evening, everyone. Welcome to Talking Reds, where we bring the latest Liverpool news and transfer news and much, much more. And what has been a week of drama, week of transfer news, certainly, including Hugo Ektike almost being a Red. His medical is set for this week at some point. He will be joining up with the boys in Asia, in Hong Kong at some point. He might not be going there straight away, but he will be joining up over there at some point. Alexander Isak news as well, a little bit on Alexander Isak, a little bit on Rodrigo, Luis Diaz, Darwin Nunez, and much, much more. Marc Guehi as well. Just one little bit on Marc Guehi and where he comes into Liverpool's equation and whether we are going to go for centre back or not this summer. So, yeah, if you are joining us in the chat, also Beefy's on join us. Hello, Beefy. How are you doing, mate? If you are joining us for the first time, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, 965. Sorry, I'm adding subs on already. And 956 subscribers already, and we are on the road to 1K. So close now to that 1K. See if we can get 1K subscribers tonight. See if we can get it tonight. That would be absolutely amazing. Make sure you do hit that like button on the way in as well. It takes 2 seconds to hit the like button. It helps out massively in terms of the growth of the channel. Boys, how are we doing?
Sweet. I'm good, mate.
How are we doing? Naj, Ekitike. We're both quite consistent on Ekitike. It wasn't the most incredible signing, but if he comes with someone else, it's a very, very good signing. Very astute signing because of the age that he is and the potential that he's got.
Yeah. I mean, I probably said some things were probably a bit over the top because I've obviously been a bit like, oh, I want Isak, I want Alvarez. I'm going to, like I say, I'll always stay on. I'm not going to go back what I said. I still think what I said's right. The lad has got potential, though. And I would have said, like, if it was a bit more towards the 50 mil, it would have been, yeah, sound. But it's not. But to be honest, it's not the 100 mil that we thought it would be. It's about 69 mil, 60. Is it 70 something with add-ons?
Yeah, 79 million altogether, 69 million fixed fee, and then 10 million in add-ons.
Well,
yeah.
The Benteke money covers that anyway, so we should be sound. Yeah, I'm happy to come in, but he does definitely need to come in with another signing. I think if we don't, probably say keep Nunez. I know it sounds wild to say that, but we definitely need a backup striker at least for the season. Because Diaz is going. I'm 100% on that he's going.
You're not so funny, Naj. You're not so funny. These Newcastle fans were all like, "Oh, we made you pay more than what." There's actually a report that they've actually paid less than what they offered in the first place.
Hilarious, isn't it?
It's funny how things turn out. It really is funny how things turn out. But yeah, the fee for Hugo Ektike is going to be 79 million altogether. 69 million pound initial, not initial fee, but fixed fee. That's what they're going to get no matter what, whether it's installments, whether it's up front or not. I doubt it's all up front. I think it probably will be installments, but 10 million in add-ons. The add-ons will possibly be usually on success. Usually, that's what Liverpool normally do. Most of the add-ons are positive add-ons, a bit like Wirtz. Louis Steele actually said that as well. Said it's a bit like the Wirtz deal where the add-ons are relatively good for Liverpool's side of things. If they succeed a certain thing, if they win a trophy, for example, or win a Champions League, then the add-ons might be paid. So, according to James Pearce, a £79 million deal, 6-year contract. He is to fly out to Hong Kong to meet with the squad. But Louis Steele did say tonight on his YouTube that he possibly won't probably play in the Milan game. He'll probably play the Yokohama game when we do play Yokohama. So it will be done. It will be done this week. Medical is set for this week. No one said any dates for medical, though. Ornstein said Ekitike undergo a medical before joining Liverpool on pre-season tour. There's no set date for the medical, but it will be this week because, like I said, from what everyone's saying in the reports, Ekitike will join up with the boys in Asia. Probably not in Hong Kong, probably when they go to Japan to play Yokohama. Is likely the case for that. So Ekitike has been signed for Liverpool as a number 9. He could play alone as a strike partner. His versatility was key for Arne Slot. Jake, obviously, see now we need versatile players. I said this before. Towards the beginning of the season, before all the transfers came in, so we need to sign versatile players. We like versatile players. Ekitike could play left, could probably play as a front two. We're not going to play 4-4-2 though. Let me get that sheet. Let me get that straight. Newcastle fans, you might have given the idea, but we're not playing 4-4-2. It's going to be a 4-2-3-1. He was impressed with Arne Slot's ideas and formation ideas to suit him in. But it does help that we can change formation at any point when we play like this.
It's obviously a massive help, and as you said, the versatility is so key. We've got that with Gakpo as well. You can play Gakpo on the left or, down the middle. Same with Ekitike. You can play sort of anywhere across that front three, even four if we desperately need him to. So there is quite a lot of positives to take from this transfer. I know, obviously, me and Naj have been quite vocal saying, not that we didn't want Ekitike, but we thought there was better out there with Isak, Alvarez. But we've got Ekitike now. I hope he proves me wrong, and I'm just excited to see him.
I think with Isak, though, it's always a possibility anyway, no matter what. However, Ekitike, I think Ekitike has on his side is certainly is 21 years old, bags of potential. He's got it. But I think our issue with Ekitike was if he comes in as the main guy and that's it, it's a lot of pressure on a young lad like that to be at number 9 at Liverpool, to have that reliance on him. Of course, Salah scores goals, Gakpo scores goals, Verts is going to score goals. So there's not much pressure on him. What are your expectations on Ekitike this season? What minimum goals are you thinking?
I think at least 10.
Is that league
10,
or
15? I think.
Yeah.
I think I'll go 10 for the league, because look at the players he's got around him. Yeah, we've lost Trent, but, Frimpong, Kirkes, Soboslai, Verts, even Salah can cross in a ball, McAllister as well. I've named that whole squad there. There you go. He won't be lacking in
We've seen that
service.
in the ring,
So
we've seen that
if he can get on the end, if he can get, yeah, exactly. I mean, unless he does turn out a bit like Nunez, where he just can't find the back of the net, I don't see why he can't be getting, 10, 15, even 20.
We've said this before now, haven't we? We don't need the perfect strike up front. With the talent we've got, the talent pool we've got in our team, we just need someone that can finish chances. And we're going to create many chances. We just need probably a better finish than Nunez.
Yeah, I mean, look, I've watched him, and the big thing that I was very on him for is physicality. Like, the Premier League's a different kettle of fish to NFL. It's like Ligue 1. Sorry. Ligue 1's quite physical, to be honest. Nowadays, it never used to be, but it is quite nowadays. It didn't really do well there. Germany's Bundesliga is not really as physical as it used to be. It's quite I think it's gone down the ratings to Bundesliga from a few years ago. So he's done well in the Bundesliga. We bought Verts from the Bundesliga as well, but I think Verts is completely different. Verts, we know Verts can do it on any stage. We've seen him do it at the Euros. He's very good. I don't know with Ektike though. Like he did. It's not a worry. It's just a bit like, I don't know. But like 10 goals in the league, combined of Nunez and Jota. Last year it was 12 in the league. So if he gets in and around that or more, that's one player. That's good. If he doesn't miss any big chances as well, that's going to cost us in big games. I'm happy. I say if he gets 20 over that all comps, I'd be happy. And I think what did he get 22 this year over all comps with like 10 assists or something like that.
Yeah.
If he comes at the end of the season with similar numbers to that, I'd be very happy. But yeah, like big games can't have been costing us. I think that's the key thing with Ektike. Like, a lot of, I don't mean last season, but I mean the season before with Nunez. Jota was injury problems, didn't he? Last season and the season before as well. In that period after, I don't even remember, after Christmas, I went to AFCON, and we was top of the league. We was good. We was flying. And, And a lot of chances come down to Nunez, and a lot of chances were missed by Nunez, and ultimately it cost Liverpool the league. I'm not just pinning it on one player, but if you really do think about it, it sort of does, because we was only losing games by one goal or drawing. We drew quite a lot of games in that time period, if you remember. So we drew a lot of goals. Obviously, when Jota come back, he was great. But towards the end of the 23-24 season. But I think, if he doesn't do what Nunez has done in terms of like big games, missing big chances, like, I mean, I'm trying to think of one that I can there's too many, but I'm trying to think of one that
the fact that he can't think this because there's 2 minutes shows you everything that you need to know.
Yeah, I mean, see, a good example would be like, it's not necessarily a big game. It's quite early on in the season, the 23-24 season. Luton 1-1, you know, that game was sort of in a period where Liverpool could have got a little bit of a lead on Arsenal and City at that time. And I think Nunez had, 10 shots or something that game? He couldn't hit a barn door.
It was ridiculous.
And like that, you know, little games like that where like, you get a goal, don't you? Like, 5 shots, your 5th shot, you get a goal. Doesn't matter.
Cool striker gets a goal in that game.
Yeah, and you know he obviously missed a lot. I mean, if you want to tie it down to last season specifically as well, you know, the Aston Villa game. I know it didn't really matter in the end, but the chance that Nunez had, the mad thing about that chance when he missed was people having to go with Soberslide.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
confusing.
And one thing you're getting already, speaking of Aston Villa at the moment, is that's just a lack of football IQ. That really is. The wrong decision, and not only the wrong decision, they made a pass that was behind Soberslide's run.
Yeah.
That was a lack of football IQ. And what we're getting in Ekitike is a better player up there.
Yeah.
And that's what you need. Whether he's as composed as it gets, he's got better footballing IQ. He knows what to do at the right time. And I think he can, like at 21 years old, he's got plenty of time to learn, plenty of time to coach. He's got the logistics there. He's got the foundations there to be a very good striker. It's up to us to get the best out of him, for me.
23.
Yeah, that's it. And I think they will do. Hugo's a good signing, says for LFC. I still think Isak will always be our number 1 target. Still could happen. We need a centre back or 2. If Konate goes, then the rest is a mega summer. It will be outgoings. I think that's what we're going to be relying on a lot now. Outgoings. Louis Steele did say that in his channel as well, saying that regarding Rodrigo, it will be according to outgoings. Obviously, the Diaz one specifically. And we're going to move on to Rodrigo now and a bit on the forwards. We are Newcastle fans. If you are joining us, we are going to speak briefly about Isak. There's still people talking about Isak, still reports on Isak because that's just the topic right now. But we're going to move on to Rodrigo. And according to L'Equipe, that Rodrigo is Liverpool's top priority if Diaz leaves. It's pretty much all the same through all the reports on Rodrigo. It's all if Diaz wants to leave. So Ben Jacobs said Real Madrid want around 90 million euros, which is 78 million pounds if Rodrigo decides to leave, which is a big price. But they might, who knows, they might come down off that price because if they want to get rid of him, you've got to do that. I said the same thing about Nunez. If we want to get rid of him, we might have to take some money off. Louis Steele did say it does rely on sales regarding Rodrigo. Jake, how confident are you that Rodrigo could actually happen? I mean, we saw the report the other day that Rodrigo still likes Real Madrid, still wants to stay at Real Madrid. But can Real Madrid offer him that he wants?
I think it all depends down to the player's preference. Like, you can't force people out because, you know, obviously Rashford's moving on now, but we've seen it time and time again with the likes of like Rashford and Sancho. If they're sat on a contract, you know, picking up a hefty wage, they don't care if they're playing week in, week out. I know they say they do, but realistically, if you're picking up, you know, 300, 400, 500 grand a week, whatever, you're not going to move it. And if he's happy at Madrid and he's happy just picking up a wage and being a bench player, then so be it. You know, I think he'd be amazing at Liverpool. You know, with that Diaz replacement, I think, you know, even coming to the Premier League would be amazing for him. So I don't know why anyone would turn that down, but I think, as you said, it is all down to player preference and what the player actually wants.
It's a funny situation. It's a bit like it's quite similar to Isak. It's quite similar to Isak. If the player wants to come and pushes the move, but you don't have to push as much as Isak. I think Isak has to push a little bit more because Newcastle want him. But with Rodrigo, Real Madrid, I don't know if they don't want him, but they seem to have not favoured him, and he's certainly not getting the minutes that he probably deserves. And he's been very, very good for Real Madrid as well. Let's not forget this. He's been very clutch at Real Madrid, scoring some big important goals, especially in the Champions League. And you've got to be where you wanted. It's the exact same situation with like if players that want to be here, they can go, but you also got to give that player a want to be there. And I think Rodrigo would certainly get that at Liverpool. Whether he gets it at Real Madrid or not, we know how harsh Real Madrid fans can be. They turn on the back on like one game. Mbappe got sent off, and next time I was on the camera, we got booed, despite whatever he's done for Real Madrid beforehand. Liverpool fans will get behind anyone. We got behind, many signings that we thought, yeah, that's not a good signing, but we still got behind him regardless. Look at the support Nunez had for 3 years. 3 years, we give him, even the ones that we just didn't want to give him any more chances at all. I was done for him after 2 years, but I'm still willing to give him a chance under a new manager. We're still giving chance after chance after chance. Rodrigo could shine at Liverpool. That's the thing. And if he sees that, I think he could see that. But if he sees that, then I think we could get a very, very good player there. But Beef said here, do we still need Rodrigo, really? If it's Ekitike, I think we need another forward.
Yeah.
Also, the unfortunate incident with Jota.
And if Diaz goes.
And we're losing Diaz and potentially Nunez. That's 3 forwards from not here from last year.
I think one of them spots.
We definitely need another forward.
I think one of them spots is definitely being taken up by Ngamoa. I will say that, like the next in line, if you like. He'll be the next.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say he's going to burst into the scene this season, but I'm going to say he's going to get a lot of game time. It's quite evident already. But yeah, we definitely need another attacker, because the thing is, like, Luis Diaz is going to go. I just know he's going to go now. There's just too much noise around it. He's literally come out and said he wants to go, doesn't he, basically? He's literally come, his agent, whatever, said. His dad's been begging away. His dad's such a strange character in terms of, like, every single week you see, oh, he wants to dreams to play for Barcelona. Dream, like, go then. You know what I mean? Like, that, mate.
Yeah.
I don't want players at the club who don't want to be there. Like, and I love Diaz. I think he's great, but I don't want you there, lad. If you're going to be like that and just keep kicking a fuss up. I know you're on small amount of wages compared to others, but just put on more wages. You'd be still wanting the same thing at the end of the day. See, for me, bringing Rodrigo in makes perfect sense. He's 3 years younger than Diaz. He's got bags of Champions League experience. Like, he's played every single season in the Champions League since he's been at Real Madrid. He scored loads of Champions League goals, assists, big game player as well. And, if we're asking for around a similar price for Rodrigo, for Diaz, Bayern want to pay it. They clearly do, or they won't be still making bids and stuff. If we even say we sold say we sold Diaz tomorrow for 61 million. Let's just say, for example, 61 million. I don't think Rodrigo will go for 78. Let's say Liverpool pays 71 million for Rodrigo, because I think it'd be around that price. I think 65 to 70 odd million. If you get him in, you've essentially bought Rodrigo for 10 mil, which is an upgrade. He's younger. He's got more experience in Champions League. His injury record's all right, actually, Rodrigo. So I had a little look at it. It's not too bad. And what better thing to do if you are Rodrigo to go move to Liverpool and go like that, basically like that to Real Madrid? You don't want to play me. These are playing me. Watch me do it. Watch what I'm going to do here. It sort of cements himself as being a better player as well, going to Liverpool. Not that we're a worse club or anything like that. Say if he comes to Liverpool and helps us win the Champions League the next couple of years, that cements him down as being a better player, doesn't it? Like, you can, Asensio won Champions League at Real Madrid. Danny Ceballos has won Champions League at Real Madrid. Do you know what I mean? Like, players like that are always going to win. Squad players and stuff like that. Why not come and be a starter, win everything? You know what I mean? That for me, that makes it more of an appetizing thing for a career for him, in my opinion, anyway.
Further, LFC makes a good point here about Gravenberch as well, because obviously Bayern Munich didn't want him, came and was outstanding under the right coaching, the right people that can get behind him, and maybe an arm around the shoulder as well. Sometimes this player just needs an arm around the shoulder, someone that has faith in them. They've got the ability to do it. Rodrigo has shown enough for me that he's got ability to play at the top level. He is doing right now. Yeah. He's playing for the biggest club in the world and still playing well for the biggest club in the world. Yes, they might have a plethora of very, very many options. Also, Hendricks up there as well. RODRGYO is now in favour over him, and RODRGYO is sensational, by the way. That's nothing to put Rodrigo down. It's just the pool talent that Real Madrid have in those forward positions is just what it is. They've just collected them.
If you was going to really going to think about it and have your starting 11 for Real Madrid, you'd have to have Rodrigo on the right. I'm sorry, like, they've got Mbappe, you've got Vinicius, they've got Bellingham and all stuff like that. But there's no way that RODRGYO, Garcia, or who's the other man? What's he called? No, I don't even know. They got so many players. Brahim Diaz. None of them get over Rodrygo.
No, not for me. I think RODRGYO is probably the only one that's close to him, but he's only a young lad anyway himself.
Yeah, but I mean, Rodrigo is an actual winger though. None of them are wingers. Yeah. I'd just be like, for me, that's what I would do. I'd have Rodrigo there on the right. But seems to me that other people don't favour him, and why not take the opportunity to go and get him? That's all I think. Get him if he's available. Get him now.
And like people have said in the chat here, if we can get someone from Real Madrid and he does well, it'd be nice to have one over on Real Madrid for once. It really would.
No.
Now, Rodrigo signs for play Real Madrid in the final Champions League again, and Rodrigo rinses Trent to win the final and win it. That would be icing on the cake. That really would be icing on the cake. I can see a lot of people hate watching Real Madrid next season. I don't like. I've never liked Real Madrid anyway, regardless of what happened with Trent and how it went down. I don't like Real Madrid anyway, and I still to this day don't understand why people are cheering on Real Madrid against Arsenal in the Champions League. Not on my watch. I do not cheer on Real Madrid. Obviously, Rodrigo's one option. The other option, Newcastle fans, is Alexander Isak. And it's not going away. I've said this for quite a while now. This story is not going anywhere anytime soon. Lewis Steele said it himself. If Isak pushes, it's a possibility. He said it's probably not likely to happen, but it's not impossible. And that's the thing. It's not impossible. It's always a possibility of happening. And Lewis Steele also reiterated that if it doesn't happen this summer, then next summer, Liverpool could easily go back in for him. We are really wanting this player. And when we want a player like that, and right now, also we're giving up on Bellingham, we're giving up on Caicedo, but right now it feels different. As a Liverpool fan that has rightly criticised FSG and rightly criticised the club for not doing enough in transfer windows, this year feels different. It really does. And I feel like if we get an ounce of a chance of getting Isak, if he says, like, I want to go, Real Madrid to go, well, the narrative's already changing. I don't know, Real Madrid. The narrative's already changing. Newcastle said, no, not for sale, not for sale, not for sale. Naj, there's a price. If there's not a price, it's for sale.
Hashtag free Isak. Hashtag free Isak.
So what they've basically done now is they bought the stock into the shop, and I don't know if you guys have ever worked at. I've worked at a shop. I've worked at a supermarket as well. And you buy this stock in, and they get them out onto things, ready to put them out on shelves. They're still there. Oh, not for sale yet. Not for sale. You can't get one. You're not for sale. What they've done now with Isak is they put him on the shelf and they put a price on him. They've got the pricing gun.
Speak.
For sale. It might be at the back of the shelf, hidden, but it's for sale, Jake.
He's still there. It's always a possibility, never say never. I think, as you said as well, it's a big season for Newcastle, If they don't, have a good cup run, get top four, do well in Champions League, he's going to be kicking and screaming to get out of that club. I think it's a big club, a big club. I think it's a big season for Newcastle because you've got a star player there. If you don't give him what he wants, essentially, he can just say, right, well, here's my transfer request. I want to go to Liverpool or I want to go wherever. I'm hearing talks of Saudi as well. Personally, I think for Isak, if you're looking at, how can you better yourself as a career, Saudi for me is a step back from playing in the Premier League, even if you're at Newcastle or wherever. I think the only realistic move for Isak, like a step forward, would be a Liverpool or a PSG, Barcelona, but that's not realistic. I think for him to better himself, he does need to come to Liverpool. I think you don't want to live with regrets. I mean, say for example, hypothetically, he finishes his career now at Newcastle and he don't win anything. He's got to be talks of Harry Kane. He didn't win anything. I know Kane's won a Bundesliga now, but come on, if Kane was in a better squad, look what Kane could have won. Champions Leagues, Premier Leagues, whatever. He nearly did win a Premier League. So I think Isak should, maybe not look at Harry Kane specifically, but maybe look at his career and go, right, I've got one big move in me. Where do I want to go? And I think the only answer is Liverpool.
Well, it is Liverpool personally. Just for now. I think if I'm honest, in a year's time, 2 years' time, I can see other clubs coming in for him. Obviously, Real Madrid, there's doubt on Vinicius right now. I don't know why there's doubt on Vinicius Jr. I don't know what's going on there. It's not agreeing wage or whatever. Yeah. But they could easily put Mbappe onto the wing looking for a striker then. They could easily look for a striker anyway. Barcelona, Lewandowski's not getting younger. Mentioned Kane, he's not getting younger. Bayern Munich at some point will look for striker. Barcelona themselves as well. So I think he will always be wanted by teams. Right now, he's going into his prime, and like you said, and this is what makes me laugh as well. Now, you know, Newcastle fans are changing the moving the goalposts constantly. Now they're saying, I got one earlier saying, "Oh, well, it's going to Saudi anyway. If we let him go, he's going to Saudi." But I thought you weren't letting him go a minute ago. 2 days ago, you weren't letting him go. Now, if he goes, we'll let him go to Saudi. I think Saudi will become a big league, not as big as Premier League, but I think it will become a big league. But that's not the right move for him, is it, really?
No, I mean, at the end of the day, and this is not being biased to the Premier League, like English football has been for the last, since the 60s, let's say, one of the top 2 or top 3 biggest leagues in the world. And it wasn't before the 60s, I get that. But since the 60s, it's literally been that, you know, we had the Busby Babes and all that, then Shankly and, you know, Forest and all that. Villa winning Champions League, Forest winning Champions League, you know, like, obviously there's a bit of sort of a lull at the start of the Premier League when it opened. But now the Premier League has gone to be the best league again. You know, La Liga is not nowhere near what it was once before. You know, I'd almost argue that Serie A's taken over it. I think it.
You know what? That's a good shout. I think Barcelona's sort of holding it up right now.
Yeah, I mean, there's obviously the main 3. Sorry, Atletico, Real Madrid, Barcelona. Outside of that, there's no Valencia anymore. There's no Sevilla anymore. Like, they've dropped off massively. You know, the other teams like really Bilbao, they did okay this season, I'd say, but all right as well. But there's not like any real big competition in that league as such as it used to be, and just players don't tend to go there now. In realistically, apart they're going to the big 2 or 3. But like, you look at the Prem, you know, Real Madrid just signed a bloody centre back from Bournemouth. Where did he come from? He come from Juventus. Do you know what I mean? Like, stuff like that's happening. Like, the Premier League, 100% bigger than any league at the minute. You know, it's the most watched. So I think in regards to Isak, going anywhere else would be pretty like underwhelming in a way to sort of his career. I mean,
unless it is like a Barcelona, yeah.
And I think there's only realistically 4 clubs that could really go in for Isak next year. One of them being Liverpool, the second one being Barcelona, third being Real Madrid, and then 4th probably Bayern Munich. I don't think PSG would go in for him. I'll be honest with you. But never say never, like you say.
Yeah, I'd never write PSG off that. Matthew said here though, he won't want to be in French League, can't win the Ballon d'Or. He can win the Ballon d'Or playing PSG. That's what Dembele's going to do this season. That would have worked any other season. That comment that you just said there, but it doesn't. It doesn't. I think, but Dembele's going to win the Ballon d'Or, whether it's in the French League or not. Is the way their Champions League performances has just been ridiculous, and Dembele's been the main part of the French League and the Champions League. Because for me, I don't like just looking at the Champions League as one thing. I think Dembele's been outstanding in the French League. I know it's the French League, and people will say that, but he has been outstanding. He's been there standout. I don't think he's been a standout in Champions League, but add them both together, then I can see him winning the Saudi's retirement football. Isak surely wants to honours to right. Now FSG Ducks are all in the row, can afford it. Isak will be mega cherry on our summer, no doubt. I think Saudi Pro League, I've said it before, I think Saudi Pro League can be a good league. I think they've got the right ambitious people behind it. I think they're trying to get the right players. Obviously, they got someone like John Duran, who's not in his prime, which is a brilliant coup. But I just think with Isak is going into his prime now. Is he going to want to play in his prime years in Saudi Pro League? I don't think he would.
I've got a question for you two, and I've got a question for chat as well. What would you consider, like we just said, the Prem's the best league? What would you consider the top 5 leagues as of now? It doesn't have to be what it is now. What you think it is?
Good question. Good question. Chat, you can answer it as well. Also, probably number 1 for me. Oh, that is a trick. You'd have to say La Liga second. You'd have to. I know they dropped off slightly, but Real Madrid will come back. Barcelona were sensational last year. I don't know how they get to the final Champions League. Serie A, I'd say that's just taken over Bundesliga. I'd say Bundesliga slightly took over at one point, but I think Serie A's coming back now. Serie A's looking exciting now every year.
Yeah,
for me,
especially last season. Yeah, I think Serie A last year was really good as well with that title race. You know, Napoli last couple of games nicking it. I think La Liga's better to watch than Serie A. I think they've got better players. But I do think it's close, you know, between La Liga and Serie A. I think Bundesliga is probably the worst out of them. Just my personal opinion.
Who's fifth? Who would you say is fifth? Then so you got I'd say probably Dutch league.
Yeah, Dutch league.
Because Ajax came back last season. Before
Yeah,
that,
to be fair, it's not as competitive as it used to be. Obviously, you used to have 4 or 5 competitive teams in each league, whereas now, as Nard said, a lot of teams have dropped off, and you find yourself it is just 2 or 3 teams nowadays. I think that's why the Premier League has taken over. I know the title race hasn't been the best last year, but I think if Arsenal get a striker, if they can get this Gyökeres deal over the line, I think it'll be a 3-horse race this year with us, City and Arsenal. So there you go, great advert for the Premier League.
The French, I didn't think of the French actually. Then I didn't think of the French. Maybe talking about PSG. Yeah, French probably would have to go probably up the Dutch and the Portuguese after that.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'm
Not
surprised.
None of you said the Saudi Pro League though.
Yeah, they're not top. I'd say the top 10 now, though.
Top 10, of course they are. The top 10.
Yeah.
I don't think they're anywhere near the top 5. I don't think they will be for a long, long time either. Just because it sounds really biased saying this, but European football is sort of
it's the pinnacle.
It is, and
it's so attractive to get players in, and they can't offer that. So
it's like you said the Dutch league for 5th. Like the Dutch league is so much more appetizing to go to than go and playing in I don't know. Let's use an example, the Chinese league or something. Do you know what I mean? Like you'd rather Dutch league than that. I think it's interesting the way football's going in the last couple of years. Like like say Liverpool, the Premier League's got out so far ahead. I think of the others. Like the others are like so far behind, like in terms of the quality of coming in. The quality of the team and stuff like that. Like say Real Madrid buying Dean Howson from Bournemouth. Like I said a quote like that. I'm going to stick to that. I genuinely think any team that was from, I think it was from, did I say 10th to 6th will probably get in the Champions League in any of the leagues in the Prem. Like I'm talking like, Aston Villa and stuff like that. They definitely get in the Champions League in La Liga. They all them like the teams last year, like Bournemouth would be. Imagine Bournemouth in like not Serie A, like the French league last season. They'd have been second.
Yeah. So at least top 4, definitely top 4. Alan made a good point here with Championship though. Now, Alan made a good point in Championship. Championship deserves its credit. It's a good league. I watch Championship football.
Championship 6th for me. If I did my list, I think Championship is brilliant.
Yeah,
most competitive league in the world, Championship.
Yeah, proper football.
So the news basically is on Isak. Speaking of Isak, then, so the news basically is on Isak is just if we get a green light, Liverpool will go in for him. And it is certainly still a chance. That's all I'm saying, Newcastle fans. It is a chance. Whether you want to like it or not, I said it in the TikTok earlier, hide anywhere's Wally Book all you want. It is still a chance of happening to Liverpool this summer. And if not, next summer. We'll just come back next summer. It's absolutely fine. But yeah, we'll move on to defence now. Obviously, Konate news is going to come at some point with Konate. We're just waiting around and waiting for this. So this is according to L'Equipe. Liverpool Sporting Director Richard Hughes is aware of Ibrahim Konate's contractual demands. Well, of course he's aware of that. What kind of news is that? But must now provide an answer as to whether or not those can be satisfied by the club. So basically, Konate has asked for whatever he's asked for. It's now up to Richard Hughes whether he are accepting that or not. I think we're going to see in the next couple of weeks now more certainty. I think that's what we want in it now. Certainty on Konate.
Yeah, it's definitely certainty. Like, because we've got Konate there, and I think he's a brilliant player, and I think I do really like him, but you can't let him run the contract down. It's just not. You just can't do that again. And as good as he is, as much as I love him, got to sell him if he doesn't want to do it. If he doesn't want to be there, you got to sell him. And I think that's the key with all the players now. If you don't want to be part of this project, you're gone.
Yeah, you've got to cash in now.
It's a catch-22. We said it before.
Yeah.
Do we sell him now and lose him for the season when we need him really this season, or do we keep him and lose him for free? Both. I can see both ideas being wrong and both ideas being right at the same time, Jake.
Yeah. Me personally, if I was in charge, if you're in charge of that situation, I'd sell him now. We can't have a same Trent situation. You look at Konate. easy 60 mil, maybe even 70. Easy money, you know. We can refund that back into the squad in so many ways, you know. We do need other centre backs. We need a winger if Diaz goes. I just think letting him go on a free is so silly. But then, as you said, we've got a league to defend. And if you look at that on paper, you're letting, you know, your second best defender leave when you're trying to compete for a league, you know. Van Dijk is a Rolls Royce. Don't get me wrong, but he's not getting any younger. And who have we got next to Van Dijk now? Really, Kwanzaa's gone. If we're letting Konate go, we need to bring in someone ASAP. And I think letting him go on a free, as you said, there's two right, two wrong answers. It depends which way you look at it. But me personally, I think just get him gone now. If he is, you know, looking at Real Madrid and there is whispers there, just go. As Nard said, you know, we've said before, can't be asked the players being at the club going, oh yeah, but you know, I'm looking elsewhere. Like, no, you know, we're Liverpool. You know, no one's bigger than the club.
Dave said he is quoted Ekitike. Also, anyone that knows Ekitike on Twitter,
Just
it was made as a joke sort of account, but I think he has connections now. Whoever's running the account, I think they've got some sort of connections. Obviously, they've got a massive account now. I think at some point they've picked up the connections because they get a lot of things right now. I'm not saying that absolutely reliable news here from Ekitike, but I think they must have some sort. Can you hear that rain, by the way? That is rain, by the way, on the Conservative Road. That is absolutely mad. We've had a summer now, guys. Saying that they're going to have a clear update on Alexander Arnold. Discuss things later on. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on that, Naj.
I mean, I just seen that come through because in the summer I'm quite sad, and I put alerts on for big accounts on Twitter so I can catch them. It's been prepared, but yeah, I just seen that come through then. It makes me laugh. Do you know what? He had my pants down when I was about 15. You know, when we signed Loic Remy from Chelsea. I remember putting like a picture on my Instagram and stuff going, welcome to Liverpool, Loic Remy, and then he signed for Chelsea. But that was years ago. I'll forgive him for that. But yeah, it's a big account now. I think he's got some credible sources, but it's funny because he's whoever runs that account is not our style. I'll just tweet it out anyway, so it doesn't matter. But he has got loads right, like whoever just said that. Then he's got loads right of recent times, which is true. Yeah, it's kind of mad when you look at the whole landscape of it now, with terms of like football journalism on Twitter and stuff like that. Like that Luke Edwards has got absolutely terrified by Ekitike news this week. Have you seen it all about the Isak thing?
Bits, yeah.
Yeah, he's absolutely terrifying. And I think because it was originally like a joke account, I think people are just think it's quite light-hearted, but he's getting things right. So I think, do we start considering him as a real credible source? That's what we start. Just future reference.
I can't put the word credible just yet. It needs verifying. It really needs verifying. That's all that. But yeah, a little bit on Ekitike is just actually dropping now. Things have been said about his wage. Apparently, according to Patrick Berger, that Florian Plettenberg is going to get 15 to 16 million euros a year, which is around 270k a week.
What?
Wow.
270k a week is the reported wage of Hugo Ektike.
I can't see it being that. I'll be honest.
I can't see it being that either.
It's very high. That's yeah.
If Florian Wirtz was signed for a club record and Premier League record fee, we all know he's on 200k a week. I cannot sign in someone who's, no offense to Ekitike, less talented, less proven.
Yeah, not on his level.
Not on his level. He's not on his level.
No.
Like Wirtz is world class already. Do you know what I mean? Like Ekitike is not.
No.
He's had a world class. I say this all the time. You only can be considered world class if you had 2 to 3 good seasons, and he hasn't. Whereas Wirtz has been world class for like 3 seasons, probably even 4 if you really deep it down. Like he's so good for his age as well, and like. If Wirtz is not on that, then he's no way he's going to do that. I reckon.
I can't see that either.
180, I think. 180.
That's high, that. Polo Mint said in loads wrong, but you got to remember, Polo Mint, Romano gets a lot wrong. You could go over how many times Romano said, here we go, and it's not happened.
Yeah.
You know, people get things wrong. Hornsey's got things wrong. Plettenberg himself has recently got things wrong. He was a very reliable journalist in Plettenberg. Didn't he say that Wirtz wants number 10?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and Wirtz certainly shut that one down. So it's there's a lot of journalists out there that might just throw things out, and they try to be first sometimes, but then they don't come up. But yeah, I should have gone to Darwin Nunez a little bit. Lewis Steele did say earlier that, I don't know if you can hear that, Rain. That is absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. But yeah, Lewis Steele said that the price of Nunez is going to be 65 to 75 million pounds, and that's the price tag Liverpool have put on Nunez, and no one's wanting to pay that.
Too much.
Too much.
It's too much money.
Do you reckon it's too much, Jake? 65 to 70 million.
I think 55, absolutely most. Too much.
Naj?
But yeah, I completely agree. It's just, you can't, it's realistically, we paid £76 million for Nunez in total so far. He isn't going to start another game. We know that. So then it'd be go to 85. But he's not worth it. He's just not worth that amount of money. You're going to lose money on him. Like, I'll use a great example. Højlund at United, they paid 69 million or something like that, or 70 odd million actually for him. If they went and sold him now, they wouldn't get much more over 40, even though he's younger than Nunez. You're going to lose money. I actually don't think I think Nunez has been better than Højlund, by the way. But again, you're going to lose money, and they've not performed at a level where they sustainably can say that you want the price that you originally paid for them. Like, what are Liverpool going to, if Liverpool try and sell him for $1 million less than they paid for him? It's not going to happen.
No.
It's not going to happen.
No, it's not. It's unrealistic. It's cuckoo land. Really bad analogy, but say you buy something and it gets a car, for example, you pay 80 grand for a car, you absolutely smash it up, do loads of miles on it, it's wrecked, take it to the dealership, what are they offering you? They're not offering you anywhere near what you brought it for. I know that's a bit of a weird analogy, but you can put
75 grand on it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You can sort of see where I'm going with it. So, yeah, I think it's ridiculous. You're only as good as your last season, and Nunez last season, he was okay, but no, not that price tag. Not for me.
You got 5.
They come and check the car, and it's like, they come and check the car, and it's like, hang on, guys, here. Where's the steering wheel?
Where's the steering wheel? The tyres are flat. It's got no MOT.
Why? 75k straight on the front of the bonnet.
We sold you.
Well, I mean, I don't know if you meant to put 55 million pounds here. I'm shouting it over the brain here. I don't know if you meant to put 55 million pounds, or he's worth 55 quid.
55 quid.
55 quid max. But yeah, what asking price are you going to ask for Nunez now? What would you say the asking price should be?
55, like everyone's saying. I just think you can't ask for that much more money than him. I just think he's just not worth it. Like, I'm being nice to the lad. He just isn't worth it. 55 million. He's young enough to get good seasons out of him. I think that's a comfortably good price. If West Ham played 30 odd million for Fulkrug last season, he's worth more than Fulkrug. You know what I mean? And I think, how much more is he worth than Fulkrug? Probably 20 mil more. So there you go. There's your answer.
Every time I speak about Isak now, it pisses it down with rain. It must be Newcastle fans.
Newcastle fans.
It's Newcastle tears. This is Newcastle tears rolling down really heavy. I do apologize. If you can hear it, I do apologize. I haven't got sound cancelling on this. I do need better equipment probably at some point.
Hey, have you ever seen?
You're saying about Nunez price tag, but Ekitike really worth that price tag? Not really, no. But at least Ekitike's got potential.
Yeah, he's got the age
to make up for that price tag. Nunez really hasn't. We need to take the money down there on Nunez if he wants to go for me. People saying, "Oh, Newcastle coming for Nunez." Yeah, Nunez and money for Isak. Get that done. £55 million and put money for Guehi, said Parliament. Yeah, in fact, now we're going to actually speak about Guehi for 1 second, actually. There was a little update on Guehi. Well, not really much of an update, but it was a little report on Guehi. Liverpool remain the favourites to sign Marc Guehi. Tottenham as well are interested in him, according to Matt Law of the Telegraph. I thought Guehi would be the next signing, Jake. It's quieting down quite a bit.
It has. It quieted down massively. Obviously, the tragedy happened the other week when, if that doesn't happen, he probably already is a Liverpool player. I think there would have been some sort of conversation there between clubs saying, look, we are interested, please stay put, but because of what's happened, obviously we can't do business yet. So I do think there is some sort of agreement there, but as you said, getting a actual agreement done over the line. It's gone quiet, and it's a shame really because I really rate Marc Guehi. You know, starter for England, young, got really good potential. You know, captain for Palace. You know, just won the FA Cup. He's only going to get better. You know, put him next to Van Dijk for a year or two, and then Van Dijk retires or goes to maybe even Saudi, whatever. Yeah, then he'll be definitely be a future captain for sure. So I really want Guehi. I do.
I think Guehi would be a brilliant signing. And I think whether Konate goes or stays, I think we should bring someone like Guehi in anyway, because of the sheer experience and the talent that he does have. What is Guehi's price tag? Says be fair. So what Palace was reported to be asking for is £45 million.
Yeah.
Liverpool are willing to pay up to £40 million and not budging on that. There was a report, I think earlier on in the last week, saying that if Palace don't come off the price tag, then Liverpool won't go in for Guehi. Now, do you think at some point Palace have to budge, because the longer the transfer window goes on, the less in favour it goes to Palace, or they lose it next year for free?
I think, I mean, look, we literally just spoke about Nunez and how we need to lower the price. This is exactly what we want to do for Guehi. We want Crystal Palace to lower the price for Guehi, so you can't always have it both ways. So I think just sort of pay it. I mean, he's 100% worth it. You're getting a great player. Like, it's just not. I don't think there's any debate around it. Like, as soon as I knew he was interested in him, I was like, yeah, buy him. Even when Newcastle, I didn't mean to say Newcastle. Even when Newcastle were interested in him last season, I was like, oh, we should be going in for him for cover, because he's great up starting, and then we haven't got him yet. But I think, it's one of them now. Like, because we are the best team in the country, it's sort of like Guehi. If they know, like, he'll know we're interested in him, so it's like, make move now. You get 40 mil. They just signed at Diamande for 50, haven't they? He's a good player. But yeah, we just basically need to just get it done. I think what has happened, though, I've said this multiple times, we're going to wait to get the money in, and I think striker was the first protocol to get sorted. So I think that'll get sorted. Then I'd probably say Guehi. If Rodrigo's there, we'll probably get Rodrigo. But sales have got to start happening now for Liverpool. There's 6 weeks left of the window. Under 6. Got to start offloading players. Got to start offloading Nunez. Got to start offloading Elliott. They've, Morton, them players who we know are on the for sale list, they've got to sort of leave now, with all due respect. Like, sort of. Yeah. And if it means we're taking a little bit less money, then that's fine by me, because obviously we need to just get other deals through the door and get the players in that we want, because next season will come around very quickly. I'll say that.
I think that'd be a great swap deal, actually. Harvey Elliott and Guehi. Why not, man? Elliott would be amazing there, especially if they lose Eze. They're going to need someone like Elliott who's hungry to play and can play. Fingers of Elliott, though, I was speaking to a mate about this. If you're in Elliott's shoes now, do you stay or do you go? Because let's say, for example, Elliott does go to Crystal Palace. No disrespect to Crystal Palace, but it is a step down from Liverpool. So let's not beat around the bush there. He does take that step down. It's very, very hard if he doesn't hit the ground running to have that step back up to a club like Liverpool. So I think Elliott will be thinking, am I just going to, what is he now, 22, nearly 23 or 23 next year? If he does make that step down to a lesser team and he doesn't hit the ground running, his career is done. I do think he is good enough to play for Liverpool, but when you look at the key individual positions, he's not good enough to get in the squad, in the starting 11, if that makes sense. But I think he's too good to be a bench player. If you know what I mean. Obviously, I know City have had their depth, for years. City used to be able to play 2 different starting 11s a couple of years ago under Pep, and they'd both be brilliant. So I do think we could adapt a sort of style like that, where we've got 2 brilliant starters. I think we have already, to be fair. We've got a couple of decent players on the bench already. But I do think with Elliott, it's going to be a personal standpoint, what he actually wants to do with his career.
Dears put this up here about La Stampa saying this about Juventus. I've not seen anything on the Juventus and Darwin Nunez, but I'm sure we'll see something come up about that. I think with Guehi, I know people are saying Guehi's not good enough and this and that. I think someone saying Guehi wouldn't be a starter. I think Guehi has potential to push Konate.
I think he'd push him out.
I don't think he's at Konate's level yet, but you got to remember, if he plays alongside Van Dijk, he could even get better. Players around better players, you get better. And I think he's slot a little bit more. He's better on the ball.
Ball playing. He's a lot more ball playing.
So, speaking of this, actually, Matthew, you just gone nicely into the left-back situation there. So, are we keeping 3 left-backs now? Nothing's been said, because obviously Robertson went on all day. They said they were going to talk to the club about it all. Nothing's been said there. But Owen Beck is going on loan to Derby, according to John Pearson from the Telegraph. He is going back under John Eustace. John Eustace managed Blackburn last year. He had him on loan last year. He's getting him on loan now at Derby. So, that's 1 left-back out. But the 3 left-backs you're on about, Naz, what do you see going on with this? Obviously, Kirk is Robertson now going to be a centre back?
I just said about I think there might be something there at Brighton when we said, they were interested in Tsimikas. I think that could probably come to light again. With the rumours of Espetinyan potentially going to United. If anything, you actually want United to sign Espetinyan so Tsimikas can go. I mean, people look at it like from 2 point of views. I don't think Tsimikas he's good, but I don't think he's good enough. Do you know what I mean? To be cover. I mean, he's done cover under Robertson, which is fine. We get that. But he's 29, I think, Tsimikas. 30 even. He isn't getting any younger. And I mean, he's brilliant. He's happy to be a backup fullback, which is great. But just the truth is, Robertson is a lot more valuable than having Tsimikas as the backup. And I think because he's not too old yet, you get decent money for Tsimikas. And he's got quite a lot of time left of his contract because he signed a new one for 4 o'clock left, I think. So I think he's got 3 years left. So it makes more sense to sell him when Robertson's got 18 months left. You look at it from the point of view where you can be like, oh, but Tsimikas has got more time left on his contract. Yeah, that's good. But if you sell Robertson, you're losing a key member of the squad, someone who's won everything with Liverpool, being there from the very start of Klopp era, basically. He brought him in 2017 before he came in with Mane, didn't he? Actually, that season before Salah, I believe. Coming before Salah, I think. But he definitely come in the same season. But he come in before Van Dijk and everything. He's been there for a long time. I think just too good to lose yet. And that's not me being like sentimental. I just think he is. Reece didn't agree with it the other day, and I think a lot of people don't. But I just think you manage his minutes. He plays 30 games a season and Kirkus plays 30 games a season. And what I mean by that is, Robertson's playing 10 minutes, 20 minutes here, and then he plays the Champions League games, then he plays the League Cup games, then he plays, that for me is better than having Kirkus play 60 games a season because he'll be burnt out. Look at Gravenberg, exactly the same as Kirkus. Burnt out by February. What more better to go? We've got Robertson on the bench. Use him. It makes perfect sense. It makes complete sense, in fact.
And funnily enough, obviously, what Beefy said here, I'm sitting here thinking about all the possible signings. It's been an amazing window. I see nothing like it. We've got all these players, and we're going still more. Really, we're not stopping here. That's the reports from like many reporters out there saying we're not stopping. This is not the stop. We're not stopping. We're not done. And one thing about Robertson as well is because we're having so much change. We're having Wirtz come in. We're having Kirkes, a Frimpong, a Mamadashvili, an Ekitike, potentially Rodrigo, potentially an Isak, potentially a Guehi. We're having so many changes. It is absolutely vital to keep a Robertson.
Yeah.
You need someone there that has had that experience. And like Nan says, it's not absolutely gone. It's not absolutely dreadful right now.
No.
He had some dreadful games last season. He's gone off maybe being a starter for Liverpool. But to have him in the background to certainly not train Kirkes, he's not coach, but to be there for Kirkes and for his development, it is absolutely crucial at a time when we need everyone to be there for each other and especially welcome the new players. We've got so many changes, so many new players. Robbo's experience and in the dressing room is just as important as anything. Look how important Milner was.
Yeah.
Milner was never a first-team player. At times he played as the first team. At times he started games, but he was never there for that. He dragged players through by his experience. Look how experienced he was when he came in against... I always go back to that Barcelona game when we won 4-0. Milner came on and shut the shop up. Yeah. We need players like that knows how to know how in those big games, and Robertson can be that. I'm not saying he's doing it for midfield, but it's just him being there is enough for me. I think even if he wasn't as good as Tsimikas, I think he's just as good as Tsimikas right now, if I'm honest.
Yeah.
Probably certainly on his day.
Yeah.
Even if he wasn't, his experience trumps it.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah.
And what he brings with this trumps it more than what Tsimikas can bring.
It's like what we said at the end of the season, though. We literally said, last season, I think Robertson, the second half of the season, was a lot better than the first half of the season. I think the first half of the season, he was very poor by his standards. Second half, sort of like after Christmas, he was pretty good. He had a few mistakes in him, but, he was pretty good. He didn't cost us, what I'm trying to say, as much. But, Southampton game, Fulham games, there's too many games. Even probably the United game was quite bad as well. There was also Arsenal. There's so many games that he was pretty poor at the start.
When Saka absolutely ruined him, that was it.
Yeah,
one of the first games of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was at the Emirates. Yeah,
that was the moment. I think that was so early on in the season. That was like a moment, like,
yeah,
what's happened to Robertson?
But even what we said though at the end of the season, as poor as Robertson was at the start of the season, what happened? Tsimikas didn't get a dot. He didn't get a minute. Because he doesn't want him. He doesn't trust him. He doesn't want him to play because he doesn't think he's as good as Robertson, and that's exactly what I think. If Arne Slot's not going to play him, then there's a reason for it. I've seen Tsimikas last season. He played all right when he did play, but I've seen like a couple of games like he was like miles out of position, and there was one game where he like booted the ball up in the air. I think it was against Brighton in the cup actually. And we was winning like 3-1, wasn't we? And it went to like 3-3 or something. And then he got the ball come to him. He just kicked it straight up in the end, and they scored off it. I was like, okay. But yeah, I like Tsimikas. I've got nothing bad to say about him really. Like, I just think Robertson's just a better player than him, and that's it. That's as simple as that. Big
up, Rebbe. How are you doing tonight? Nice to see you in the chat again tonight. Obviously, I know you subscribed last night. It's nice. Did you subscribe last night? No, was it Saturday? I think it was Saturday night, wasn't it, Rebbe? You subscribed. It was nice to see you back in the chat. But yeah, we're just going to wrap it up there anyway. Like I said, if you have just joined us now, if like Rebbe or anyone else that's just joined us now, this is on record anyway, so you can watch the whole thing back. It's on YouTube. Just go onto our latest news or live streams, whatever. It will be on there. You can watch it all back. But make sure you do hit that like button whilst you are here. If anyone's in the chat right now, if you're watching in recording, you can hit the like button anyway. It helps out massively. If we can get them like buttons hit up, it helps us out growing the channel. And we are almost at 1,000 subscribers. It has been an unbelievable journey to here. Starting this channel in October, I didn't think we were going to get to 1K subscribers that quick. I really didn't, but it's been amazing. What we want to do is put it all back to you guys. We want to give you the best content we physically can at this channel. The bigger the content, the bigger the channel gets, the better the content gets. I can absolutely assure you that. We've got some big ideas for the channel, and it all relies on you guys to help us grow it, and we will give it back to you as much as you can grow it with. If you can grow it for us, we will give you better content, and we will make sure it's entertaining as much as we can. We want to be the channel that you guys come to as often as you can. Thank you for watching tonight, guys. Make sure you do, like I said, subscribe to the channel if you are new, and we'll speak to you all tomorrow.